What's up guys, Peepo here, and today's review is going to be about these. Not so much the head, not the mesh. We already did a review of the mesh, but this stringing, these laces, these strings from, get off there, Fire Threads. Fire Threads, nice little packaging first off, but this is a new concept out there to where there is rubberized strips and dots along it. Obviously I'm wearing a bracelet that actually comes with the package, but so basically it's weather resistant threads. Kind of, it almost feels like cotton, but it's not. It doesn't really stretch too much like it's cotton, but it definitely stands up to water and everything because I wear this in the shower and it doesn't stretch ever. But it has rubberized printed stuff on it. Here, I will actually show you a better picture, better view of it. But so, just a nice cord with a little bit of rubber dots going along it. That's how all of the actual sidewall strings and so on will have it set up. And they also have these actually kind of cool design right there on the actual lace itself, but it is the same material as the sidewall, but it has rubberized strips going along the entire length of the lace. And you can actually kind of squeak. Don't mind the music, that's the neighbors. They like the jam. They got some old stuff going. But so that's the lace, and then they have, basically, if you get the entire kit, it is 3 shooting laces, 2 shooter cords, 2 sidewalls, 2 top strings, 1 bottom lace, 1 wrist cord. Now, with that said, I do have a bit of a, I guess you could say, complaint as far as the strings go, where I pulled all of the stuff out of the package, and obviously wrist cord is wrist cord, and it came like this. All I had to do was expand it to get around my hand, and then I put it in place. But 3 shooting laces, obviously 3 shooting laces, and then you have your 2 shooter cords, 2 sidewall, and 2 top string. Now, my problem with those last 3 things that I listed is that there's really no length or thickness differentiation between all these different styles. Definitely when it comes to thickness, they're all the same, so you can't tell if one should be a shooting cord or sidewall. But me personally, I use all the same size for your sidewall, top string, sometimes bottom string, and then my shooting nylon, which is fine. That works for me. And when it comes to the diameter of the string, but then when it comes to the actual length, it's a little something to be desired. They should probably bunch them, as far as like bunch them together for what they specifically are, because there's people that use super long strings for your shooting cords and so on, and there's 2 super long ones, so I'm assuming that those should be the shooting cords, and then all the other 4 out of those 6 strings that you're supposed to get, which is the shooting, the sidewall, and the top string, those other 4 are the same exact length. So it doesn't really make any sense to me why it might make sense to them if they laid it out for me. I could probably understand it. It's just one of those little things that I pull it out of the packaging and I'm like, which one's supposed to be which? That sort of thing. That's really the only problem I have as far as the packaging and so on. But getting into the strings themselves, it's Fire Threads, play with fire, kind of cool. That's their emblem. And performance threads for your wand. Not too many people call it the wand anymore, but it features grip print, which is the rubberized printing on all the strings. It creates extra hold, maximum snap in power, reduces the greaser effect, which is when your balls get a little too greasy and then they just kind of slip right out of the pocket. Easily maintains knot tension. I will have to agree with that, because once I do these style of knots, not SIs, blah blah blah, it when I actually get them in there nice and tight, they don't budge. So the actual material that they use for the strings, it stretches a little bit while you're trying to string it, but once you lock it down into whatever knots that you're going to do, solid knot making for this stuff. It only comes in one color right now, which is this kind of neon volt green color. But I mean, hey, they only just started, so they got to spread out some way. But overall, the sidewall strings and your top strings and so on, very solid. Although I feel it kind of limits you, because if you're one of those people that doesn't really pay attention to detail, which there is a lot of stringers out there that really don't pay attention to detail as much as they really should, to where, like you can see, and I did this on purpose so that you could see, is that if you don't pay attention, you're not going to have equal to even exposure of the grip print on the strings to where it actually has full contact with the ball no matter where it is. Like, if you don't care for that sort of thing, you're going to end up just like how I have it. One string is exposing the grip print, the other isn't. And then that's really the main problem with the sidewall, in my opinion, is that maybe they need to try and figure out to where they can either spiral the grip print onto the chords themselves, or maybe double-side it to where you have it on the one side and then the other. That way it's more likely to have contact with the ball, which, I mean, they might already have realized that, but that's my opinion. I really feel that that would improve the grip print usage on the chords themselves. So just, that's the one thing. It's not so much a negative. I just feel that it would improve the string. Now, your shooting laces, they're pretty solid. They don't stretch. Again, whatever material they use doesn't really stretch any. It's rather soft. The actual lace itself is pretty soft, although it's very narrow, I guess you could say. I don't really have any other laces out, but if you had to compare size, your usual laces will be about that wide. Where this finger is, it would be about that much wider, so maybe a centimeter or two wider, just because of grip and so on. But I am assuming that because it has the grip print on it, it doesn't really need to be a wider lace, which is good. That's fine. Moving into the grip print itself, I don't know. It's just one of those things where I feel that it could be improved again. I mean, I'm just pointing out improvements left and right, I know, but this is just my opinion after stringing it up, throwing with it a few times, and shooting and so on, which I'll get into that in a second. But I feel that it could probably be changed a little bit as far as the application of the grip print onto the laces, where it could probably be segmented just like how the string is segmented along it. That way that you can, that's just one way that I think it could probably be changed. Or, and I actually discussed this with a couple different people, to where instead of one strip going down the entire length, maybe make it two thinner strips to go along it. But I mean, it could also, I mean, they could also just leave it as one, just because it'll stay on the lace longer and better. So that's my opinion of the laces there. Now, when it comes into the actual performance of it, it does actually create a little bit of a different feel, to where you might need to wall ball a decent amount to where you can get used to it and understand it. And the laces definitely perform the way they should, as long as you take your time and put them into the mesh properly. Because if you just string and don't actually pay attention to how you're weaving it, you're going to end up with not so great of a reaction to how you throw. But so, as you can see, I tried to keep the laces as flat as possible so that there was always exposure of the grip print, so it wasn't like twisted or anything. But so if you if you try and maintain that the laces stay flat like such, you'll be able to have the consistency of the grip print itself. But so it feels a lot like a regular shooting lace when you go and throw with it, although the grip print does add a little bit of a different feel. It definitely creates a little bit of a snapping feel upon release, which isn't horrible. It's not a bad thing. But it might take you a little bit to get used to. Don't just throw with it and think, oh, this is awful, blah, blah, blah. No, it's one of those things that you probably need to take a little bit of time to figure out. But overall, I feel that fire threads are a fairly solid product. I mean, there's always room for improvement on everything that comes out. Whether or not you think it's perfect or anything, there's always room for improvement somewhere. But when it getting back to lengths and so on for your strings, when it comes actually to the sidewalls, there's actually, I was talking about the different lengths and so on, but there is enough length to where you can string up your stick properly and easily enough. Like if you're gonna do just this regular top string, this is all the excess after doing double wraps there. But so all in all, very solid product. It's something worth trying. I feel that they're in the right direction for trying to innovate and bring something else into the stringing world that hasn't really been brought in, other than like there is rubberized mesh out there, but why a lot of people don't really like rubberized mesh because it's usually too hard. But if you have really high quality mesh like this String King Type 3 with this new innovation of strings, I feel it's a good combo. I feel that you could probably achieve something that you really haven't been able to before. So fire threads, guys, fire threads, definitely give it a look. I don't really know of any places off the top of my head that actually sell it. I know LU does not sell them, just because they're very new to the market. There hasn't been an extensive amount of feedback that I've seen about fire threads, so I wouldn't expect to see them in a whole lot of main retailers. So that's that. But thanks for watching, guys. I hope this helped you kind of get a little bit of an insight into what fire threads are. I know a lot of people have been pushing me to do my review of it, but it's a new product, guys. You got to give me a little time to get my feel for it and be able to put out what you guys want. So thanks for watching, guys. I will catch you later.